Hello everyone there, Rem619 here. I'm just going to show something on unfair. I genuinely think I found the strongest damage class in 1.2, so I'm just going to show off an encounter against the Necrons as soon as you get into one of the later acts, to show, well, Act 5, to show off why I think this is so strong. Now obviously the strongest, like the most overpowered thing in the game is the Officer, like there's no question about that, and everything this build does is sponsored by Officer, so but I just wanted to show off the sort of damage that you can do. So I'm just doing the initial setup, Officer buffs, getting out to my Navy Officer buff, and then I'm going to use that to basically skip turn order, because turn order is irrelevant, and go first. So this is a Warrior to Arc Militant Pyromancer. He is melee based but also a blaster. It can do everything. It can be tanky, it can be dodgy, it can be the DPS, it can be the ranged DPS, it can be the melee DPS, it can be the explosive DPS, it can be the armor stripper, it can be the stunner. It does everything. If this gets any interest, I will build a proper build video to go through and break it down, and I'll show off all the fights. So I've been going through the whole game on unfair from start to finish with this build. No respecs, just straight through what I can do, improving the gear as I get it and go along. So yeah, setting everyone up, moving them into place, and yeah, I'll show what I do. I've already put out a Steam guide for this and a Reddit guide, but a lot of people who play on normal have still been telling me, but my other thing on Vanguard is just as powerful. If it is, I want to see it. I want to see the tanky build that does what this is going to do. Again, I'm not editing the video, because obviously I don't want anything to skip. So this is going to be an entirely raw, unedited infight. It's my first time doing this counter. It's actually my first time even getting to this section of the game. So obviously there could still be better items for this build later on. But all I know is, yeah, I've seen people use this encounter to show off builds before, so I thought, why not? I'm here, and I recognised it because of that, so I thought I'd go for it. So, again, this is still all my officers' first turn. This is why officers are so strong. I've been able to set up and buff 2 different people. It's absolutely crazy. But one of the huge things as well is, because of the amount of momentum this guy has, he's going to be able to sort of set himself up and just go from the first turn. And yeah, I've got a Master Tactician and a Grand Strategist here. Because of item uses, the Master Tactician always goes first, with the Grand Strategist always second. So obviously, going to use Ignite myself to give myself an extra psi rating. My psi rating is now 11 on this build, which is pretty nutty. I've already actually got what I need to be able to pretty much set up the combo. Now, if these enemies were closer together, you can build up enough kills to cross the entire map and have unlimited movement and attacks, because you get extra actions every 8 crits and or kills, as well as when you kill things, you also get more movement. This is obviously because of the ultimate ability of Warrior. So I'm literally just going to apply some buff. Unfortunately, because I didn't know the map layer, I didn't pick the ultimate route to be able to kill everything that I needed to cover the whole thing. So I'm probably still going to do this in 1 turn, maybe just over a turn. But yeah, it's every encounter on unfair to this point. Even Urlon and Daybreak, I beat them both in a single turn with this build. On unfair. I'm just going to set the tactical zones up there. The whole party is designed to really support the Pyromancer. He's like the solid only DPS. Everything else is there. It's just to enable him to do what he does. So here we go. All you really need to do is obviously use Bring It Down. Normally that'll be enough to do it. But because of the weapons I'm using, every time I melee, he actually gets stronger as well. So yeah, coming in with respectable like 298 there on that melee, and that's going to be the low end. So obviously Firestorm can set up more damage. I can increase the fire damage that I do on melee as well, with a free use ability there. But I'm just trying to think where I can move to get things. Normally you'll be able to use the Ignites with Firestorms to pick off a lot of enemies before you have to worry about using your ultimate, because I also get a number of bonus attacks based on my psi rating with the items I've chosen. But I have the little problem of I didn't plan ahead for sort of the layout of this map. Probably should have run this once by myself, but I thought it'd be better to show off what it looks like raw when I don't know what's going on. Now, obviously that's a heavy destroyer. I already know that you need to hit them from the back. I played the tabletop and I did look at their stats when they came into the room. So yeah, no, these guys, scary stuff.
Don't let your guard down.
You know, Necrons are actually why I got into Warhammer. It was when I was a kid, I was first taken to a shop, and I was a customer raffle prize winner for the one that came in. I got a Satan Nightbringer and a full set of Necrons, already painted and built up, so I actually had a go army. So yeah, as a kid, that's how they snuck me in. It was like giving me drugs to get me in on it. But yeah, as you build up versatility stacks, everything you do just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And if there's large groups of enemies, you get, like I said, you get unlimited attacks and unlimited movement. But the main issue here is going to be getting to it. Normally I would be able to kill, but I think because of the positional targeting here, I'm actually not going to be able to continue the rampage. Is there any way that I can deal damage without counters from behind? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, all I'm going to do is keep building up warp perils at this rate, so I'll switch back. I've noticed that movement seems to get refreshed for your allies. When you have abilities that when they've given a turn, then moves them their turn, it will also refresh all of their actions. As you can see, she was buffing, but now she's got all of her actions back. Oh, I accidentally right-clicked there. Funny enough, I've also made a really overpowered burst fire build, which is probably the same as what other people do, but it can quickly build itself up to 60 round burst by like turn 2 or 3. On turn 1, I think the most I've done in a single turn 1 is 45. But yeah, with the improved heavy bolter, that's pretty nutty. But I don't have all the buffs and turn swaps I can do. Because what you do is you can build up stacks versatility by giving them extra moves. So you give them reposition, you give them so move. Then you've got brace for impact, we'll give them another one. Then you can give them a turn, then you can give them an ultimate, and that builds up 4 stacks in itself.
Doubt is for the weak.
So at the moment, 19 shots to open with. Like I said, that's not with her being fully buffed up. But even then, like, the shots they do respectable damage.
Each strike is a prayer.
So that's one Necron down. I'm gonna probably save. Yeah, I'm gonna save that my momentum. I doubt I'm even gonna get hit. Funny enough, yeah, you don't just. It isn't a glass cannon. You don't need to clear the battle in one go, because you'll see that I have very high armor and very high dodge, as well as health, a lot of health. Yeah, I did pick up the Halo device for this build as well, because you don't need it, but it's a good option to make it just incredibly overpowered. It's just 4 shots, 4 misses, standard. I'll show off the stats as well in a sec.
Deliver us.
So yeah, let's think about where we're going to position, and I'll obviously show off the stats as well. There are a lot of really useful project feats that you can pick up along the way as well.
I'll see to it you should have thought twice before crossing me.
Ooh.
It's as good as done.
Yep, nice 620 on that molten beam.
I'll see to it personally. On it.
Yep, that's better. 313 on the actual melee, 179 on the fire. We can also double the fire. So the fire damage you do is based on the damage that you're taking on burning. So if you're only taking like small ticks of fire damage, you'll only add small amounts. But if you're taking much higher amounts, you'll obviously do more. And you can keep doubling it within flame.
Your end was inevitable.
And obviously getting the kills to get more movement is very, very useful. If they were closer together, I can probably molten beam it as well if I zip in. But yeah, look at that dodge. 356% dodge, 97% armor, 13 deflection. Like, yeah, this guy, he has it all. Like, look at that 35 on build up that momentum. Yeah, there's nothing that's gonna touch him.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Again, by swapping between the normal shot and the burst fire, you build up stacks. Now, I could have also swapped to her flamer. Yeah, this battle's essentially been won. We're still in the first turn, by the way.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Yeah, if you could have fully respect Jay, I could have repositioned Cassio, and we could have done a double heroic action this turn.
I am his will made manifest.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the extra attack. At the moment, her standard special from Soldier is bugged because of Arc Militant with the reducing the heavy bolter shots. It never goes below 1, so even when it's meant to be 0 for some of the talents and abilities, it still costs 1, so you can't keep shooting by the rate of fire. Now, obviously, if you could, it'd be bugged, cause it would be crazy strong as well, because like you can build it up to like 60, so you'd be able to take 60 single shots. So I'm guessing that's why they've sort of screwed over the build to the point where some abilities aren't usable. This is the standard party that you can use to sort of carry every encounter. The only time I switch someone out is I switch out Argenta if there's quest stuff.
At your beck and call.
Because Ablard, who's also Arc Militant, yeah, he's an insane tank as well. Everything he does gives temp health to allies. He hits, gives temp health to allies. He gets hit, he gives temp health to allies. He heals, he gives temp health to himself and allies. And I can do that without going into Vanguard, which is better because that means that I can do damage. And I can be more mobile as well. And I don't have to play reactive because anything that you need to be waiting for your enemy's turns, playing on unfair is just not viable. At least not what I found. If someone out there knows a way to make it viable OP, please do show me. I could build up. I've also set up Pascal that he can build up armor to make the team even more invulnerable. But I really don't need to. Like I've already won this encounter. It's just bullying this last Necron. Oh, it's Necron Deathmark as well. Goddamn. Yeah, my Pyromancer could have soloed with like those initial buffs just to skip turn order. He could definitely solo this whole room. If they were closer together, I could have literally Firestorm, Multibeam, and eventually, because of all the area damages, it picks up. So I would have been doing over 1,000 damage per hit, let alone backdraft, adding an extra half. He's out of reach for the stun. Yeah, so I've got basically 2 buffers, 2 DPS, an off tank that can also DPS, and obviously a debilitator. And yeah, my guys, they build up momentum so quick, even on unfair, it's crazy. The only time I struggle in this game was, I think, the end of Act 3, when you're trying to fight for the gate. I had to have the Dark Elf and the Elf Lady, whose names I can't pronounce. But yeah, that was a struggle, because my entire party died except for Cassia and my Pyromancer, so they ended up having to fight it themselves solo. But yeah, like, boom. A nice Molten Beam to finish it on with some obscene damage. 707. I think the highest I've seen is 1,400 on a single Molten Beam. but that's without the backdraft as well.